As promised, I'm back. As promised. Let me just adjust this thing here because I don't have really a good tripod for this whole phone thing. But yeah, okay. How you guys doing? What's going on? Sorry. This whole live setup thing is just not. I need a producer, man. Anybody need a producer? I need a producer out there. I need a technical wizard. How's it going, Durga Moss? What's up, Corey? How you doing? Braves fan. How are you? I'm pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, just trained last night and stuff, and then running around today, getting some boxes for moving. And yeah, did a video last night, so I was up late doing that. Trying to put up a video in between these live streams and stuff, so sometimes it's not always easy, but yeah. I don't know if I'll put up a video tonight. I might put up another video tonight. We'll see. I have to work on some music. I have to master some tracks that I did already, so I have to get on that. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep up with the creative endeavor because in 1 week I move, so that's going to stall me for a day or two anyway. How you doing, Robin? I got my protein shake here. Yeah, thanks, Durgamas. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Hesher Banter. Yeah, the 6,000 subs, I know. Thanks for the congratulations. Honestly, I don't even pay attention to the subscriber count that much anymore just because, honestly, there are people that are, like, I'm on these different forums. There's some people that are, like, complaining because they only got 50,000 subscribers in 6 months with of work or something like that. And I've been at this for 5 years, so it's pretty funny. 5 years to get 6,000 subscribers. But it's quality, not quantity, right? Quality. I got some quality people on here, so that's the most important thing. Yeah. L Row 70 is asking how many protein shakes do I drink a day? Probably 1 or 2. 2 on average, depending if my diet's really in check. The last couple of days I've been, cheating a little bit on my diet. I've been eating a little bit. I had pizza on Friday and some ice cream and had a little bit of that last night. I just felt like my body needed to reset. And yeah, so I had a little bit of cheat foods and stuff. So sometimes my protein shakes don't go up on those days. But today I'm back to eating normal again here. So yeah, so I'll have 1 or 2. 1 or 2 probably. About 50 to 100 grams of protein a day through protein shakes. Yeah, Braves fan. Learned during your last move that painting makes for great shoulder work. Yeah, yeah. I won't be painting anything. Just so you know, I'm not much of a home improvement guy. Yeah. So Hesher Banter, you're so early. I'm early your time, but my time it's about 3:30 right now. 3:35. I'm on Pacific time, so right above LA there. I'm on Vancouver time, Canada here. So yeah, so it's kind of a good time for me. So I've been trying to do these live streams a little bit just to expand the subscriber count as much as I can as far as get this knowledge out there and then produce the other content as well so that way you guys have some higher quality content at the same time. And at the same time then we can actually discuss how your training programs are going. Say you did purchase a training program through my website or something, we could talk about some of the questions and stuff around that, right? 1:38 a.m. Manu 2K, where are you? Where in the world are you? It's 1:38. Ryan, how many times do I train a week and how long? 5 to 6 days a week for about an hour, hour and a half each time. Alex Gilbert, thoughts on intermittent fasting? I get this question every single day. Just so you know, I'm going to answer, I'm going to make something really obvious to you guys right now. Okay? Really, this is really obvious. Do you think if I thought something was the best possible thing for me that I would not be doing it? Right? Like what I'm doing must be the things that I think are the best possible things. And I have not talked about intermittent fasting whatsoever. I have not talked about doing it. I don't do it. It's not because it's horrible. I don't have much experience with it, to tell you the truth, except for the fact that in some parts of my life that I went without eating for periods of time and I found that it wasn't actually very good for my energy levels when I went into the gym, okay? So if I'm not doing something, if you see me on this channel, I'm not doing something, usually that is me testifying that I don't like doing that. Like I'm doing the things that I believe in. You know, what I've done over the last 30 years is experiment with many different training techniques. And the training techniques that you see me doing right now are the ones that I believe are the best, especially for me. I'm not saying that I'm not open to other techniques for other people and stuff, but these are the best techniques for me. So when you ask me, it's almost like, I'm like, isn't it obvious? Like, why would I be trying to do the most horrible technique for me? That doesn't make sense, right? So I'm thinking this logic is kind of lost on a lot of people that are watching my videos. They're saying, oh, Jason, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Well, obviously I'm not doing it because I don't want to, because it doesn't work for me or I don't like it for some reason, right? So Those are my thoughts right there, so you can kind of get an idea, right? If I'm not doing a bro split all the time, it's probably because I believe in a little bit of higher frequency training for me most of the time. But it doesn't mean that there aren't times where I think the bro split can work well, right? So anyway, I think that you guys can kind of get an idea about that. Rafat El-Azada, I'm natural. That's why it's called natural Gallant bodybuilding. Once again, the obvious is lost on people on YouTube. I don't know whether it's laziness right now on Google. Maybe people are so used to easy answers that they need all the answers fed to them. But yeah, if you read my name, it says natural Gallant bodybuilding. Gallant's my last name. We know what bodybuilding is. It's building the body with muscle and stuff. And natural means drug-free. Okay? Natural. Yes. 100%. Always have been. Always will be. That's it. L-Row70. Do you train abs, core exercise? If not, why not? Well, I answer this in all my other Q&A videos several times. So be sure to tune into those other videos. They might answer some questions you don't even know that you do have, because I do answer these questions. But I don't believe that I need to at this point. I'm not saying that you can't get some extra development in your abs from doing ab exercises. Yeah, you can. You can possibly inspire some sort of tightness in that area from doing so. Who knows? I used to train abs sometimes, but mostly what I do is I rely on the core work from deadlifts, squats, and tricep press downs. You know, you're sucking the stomach in and you're resisting as you're doing this, so you are getting some ab work in that. Okay, so that's why. And if I do ab work, I usually do like just crunches and stuff, or things where I just curl the upper body, but I just don't do that much because I find I just don't need to. I find that I get a lot of core work from these compound exercises where I'm activating the core, sucking that stomach in towards the stomach, or sorry, sucking that stomach in towards the spine, and by doing that, I'm actually getting a lot of ab work, right? Yeah, Lucas, it's true. Abs are done in the kitchen. Yeah, fat loss basically makes abs come in, right? Manu 2K, water retention advice. Don't worry about water retention. Water retention is just such a minor thing. Some people use the water retention thing as an excuse to not get leaner or not pay attention to their diet. They're like, oh, I'm just retaining water. But sometimes if you're retaining water, like a lot of water, it's a sign that you're having too much carbs or too much sugar at that time. And retaining a little bit of water is okay when you're training. But when you're trying to lean down, then you basically want to make sure that your body's not retaining water. So one great way to do this and a healthier way is to basically drink lots of water. That's one healthier way to do it. But I wouldn't recommend dehydrating yourself just so you walk around always totally dehydrated. That's not healthy. That's not going to help you. Right? Rafat El-Azada, how do you get to a low body fat percentage? Well, what you do is you watch what you eat. You learn how to eat properly. I've got a couple videos on here, how to eat as a natural bodybuilder. That's one video that will help you. And another video, do I count calories? Watch that video. And at the same time, weight train, lift weights, so that way you have more muscle mass. And then from there, you will have a faster metabolism and you'll burn more fat off. So that's the best way to do it. That's why bodybuilders and power athletes tend to be pretty lean, especially if they watch their diet and stuff. That's why. It's because the muscle mass helps increase that metabolism. How you doing, Canadian Giant? How are you? Teriyaki, how to grow big biceps. Incline curls are one of my favorite exercises for that. Work the brachii. Work the brachii. Not the forearm so much. You already work the forearm when you're training back, right? Yeah, good old Junior. Best way to approach a woman at the gym? I don't know. When did this turn into a dating channel? Is this a dating channel now? Am I an expert on dating now? Do I look so studly to you that I'm like an expert on women? Is that what's happening here? I'm interested in actually finding out why this guy's asking me about dating. Yeah, Natural Gallant Dating. Is that my new YouTube channel? Natural Gallant Dating. I'll just bring a camera around with me all the time and then just approach women randomly. One thing I have learned is that in this day and age, it's just strange. I don't even know if I could date in this day and age in some way because it seems like everybody's got some sort of weird barrier up in different levels, right? Like I commented on a girl's shirt yesterday and she thought I was hitting on her or saying something probably inappropriate. I could tell just by her reaction. But she actually had a comic book superhero on her shirt. And I said, I like your shirt. I like Marvel Comics. I'm into comics. I like superheroes, all that kind of stuff. And she was like looking at me like, you creep, like what a jerk to comment on her shirt. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, when did this happen when people weren't allowed to relate or talk, you know? So best way to date, best way to get women, best way to get relationships, period, is to interact no matter what kind of reaction you get. And then pay attention to the reaction. And if you can see that somebody is not interested whatsoever in interacting with you, then move on. That's really the best thing I could say, I guess. It's kind of like being a sales rep. You know, you get a lot of doors slammed in your face, but at some point there are some people that are open to the connection or open to the sale, and the sale is you, right? Here I am. How you doing? Are you interested in relating in some way, right? Jeez. Max G5, you're hilarious. I'm not going to comment on those stupid comments. I mean, I'm not trying to comment about you, but yeah, some things are just not even worth talking about. Yeah, dance in the gym, women will love it. Some women will like that, but some women will actually think you're an idiot too, because they might think that, oh, what kind of crazy ass is this guy dancing in the gym? What's he doing? But I'll do it anyway, because I don't do stuff because I expect people's approval. I do it because I get my own approval. That's the most important thing. Find your own approval. That's the most important thing. Especially in this YouTube game or anything to do with success. The people that sought approval usually don't get successful. Usually they just do what everybody else is doing. And if you do what everybody else is doing, you're going to get exactly what they have. You know, so you have to do what you like to do. And I think joy is the highest currency, right? When you're happy, that's the highest currency. That's why you do everything in your life, is to get more happy, right? So pleasing yourself is important in that equation. If you can please yourself, then you're not worried about whether other people are pleased with you or not, and you're not trying to micromanage the impossible. You know, you guys have seen a lot of these live streams, and as many awesome people as I have met, you can see that there are quite a few psychopaths that are also coming out of the woodwork and attacking me for no reason. So the thing is that you got to still find your own happiness in there. You just got to keep going back there, right? That's the most important thing, and that's the best advice I can give anybody, regardless of what your goals are in life. I'm 5'8". That's my height. Okay, Ryan. Is The Rock a bodybuilder or actor or a singer or a fighter? Next thing you know, he's America's president. Probably. Actually, I met The Rock. Just so you guys know, I met The Rock a long time ago. In 1998, I met him in Port Moody, which is only about 20 minutes away from my house. I was personal training at that gym, and he came in there because he was filming something for television. And yeah, he came in. He was a really nice guy. I didn't really follow wrestling at the time. I didn't even know who he was. I just knew a bunch of people were saying, "Hey, The Rock's here. The Rock's here." And I'm like, "The Rock? Who? Who's The Rock? Right? What's that have to do with anything?" And like, no, he's a famous WWF or WE or whatever wrestler. And yeah, go check him out, man. He's right there training, right? So he was just doing a light pump or whatever, doing some biceps and stuff. And I just went up to him and like, "Hey, I hear you're a wrestler." And it's so funny, like he wasn't offended because I didn't know who he was or anything. He was just super nice. He just said, yeah, no, I just wrestle. I'm like, "Oh, how'd you get into that?" And he gave me the whole story that you've heard probably on YouTube somewhere or whatever about how his family was involved in that business and everything, and how he got into it after football and everything. And yeah, super nice guy. Actually, in person, The Rock was a super nice guy. So at least that's my experience with him. So if you meet him in person, you'll probably end up meeting the same guy you see on TV. He's actually just a nice guy. I really like him. Yeah. And there's a guy I know, Mike Ryan, who's on my Facebook friends or whatever. He's a personal trainer down in LA, and I know he has worked with The Rock here and there from time to time too. Mike Ryan's got an unbelievable physique. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, good old Junior. The guy is literally a rock. Maybe you should call him the Boulder. No, he's that was a stage name in wrestling, right? Okay, so Rudy Espinoza, how you doing, Rudy? Haven't seen you for a little bit. You have been commenting on my videos. I've been noticing. I've been watching you, Rudy. I'm watching you. I'm watching Rudy. Okay. So anyway, he's saying thoughts on periodization. So periodization is when you train heavy for a period of time, and then you may train light for a period of time, or maybe you concentrate on cardio for a period of time. So you have different goals. I think it's good. I think it's good to mix things up. I basically take the periodization on a weekly level. So a couple of days I'll do a lighter weight, and then in a couple of days I'll do a heavier weight, and then a couple of days I'll do medium weight. So I kind of bring that 2 or 3 month thing down to a couple of days, and I do that. That's how I kind of watch. Yeah, the NSA is watching too. That's right. Yeah, exactly. I'm so magical. The NSA is looking at me, right? So yeah, so I find that bringing the periods of training down to a couple of days also works. But it's not like I'm not against doing heavy weights for a period of time too, or lighter weights. Sometimes your body just needs something, and responding based on that is a good thing. So right now I'm going heavier. I'm doing 295 for more powerlifting sets on the bench. I'm doing some squats at 405. I haven't showed this footage yet or anything. That footage will be coming up. But I'm starting to move up in weight and try to challenge my body, and I'm getting some positive results from it. But I know for a fact, though, for a period of time, I just couldn't do that because my body and the joints and everything just didn't feel like it was the right thing. So doing the lighter weights was the right thing. So sometimes you need to go through periods of time where you're doing lighter poundages or heavier poundages or higher reps or lower reps. You know, that's normal. So I think it's a very valid technique, and I think it's good. But I think your body will tell you what type of periodization you need to be on. Rafat Al-Azadi, you're asking me about what I think about other people. I comment about some people have some really good things to say about them. It doesn't mean that people I don't comment on, I have bad things to say about. Sometimes I just don't have anything at all to say, so I'm just going to kind of keep it I try to keep the controversy down as far as anything I'm going to say. So yeah, I'll try to prevent myself from talking here. I could talk all day about everybody, honestly, but I don't really want to talk on YouTube about this stuff because that's not the way I want to build the channel. Robin H10 2020. Is there more numbers in your name now? I thought it was 1020 before, but now it seems like no. I think it might be the same. But anyway, you're saying, do I ever take a week off the gym? I take a week off here and there, but not on purpose. Sometimes life just happens, like such as a move, or such as we were trying to sell our house and stuff for a bit there, so I had to take a day or two extra off there. When we went to Italy years ago, there was no gyms anywhere I went, so I had to take a whole month off there, and that was actually not a bad thing. I took a whole month off training, or 4.5 weeks or something, because my shoulder was kind of weird at that point. I discovered what it was. It was a muscle knot behind my back that I had to take care of, and I took care of that, and the shoulder was instantaneously better. So sometimes taking time off gives you a time to reset, and because this whole bodybuilding thing is a creative endeavor for me, it can't always be go, go, go. Sometimes you do need to take a bit of a mental break as well. I find the training isn't a problem for me. I love the training. It's kind of like a daily thing. It's just like putting socks on. It's just normal, right? But at the same time, sometimes, you know, life has other experiences besides just lifting weights. I mean, we're not here just to grow muscles. I mean, we're here to experience all of life, not just muscle stuff. So on this channel, I hope to, in the future, bring more of a vlogging type feel to it. I know some of you might be interested in that. Some of you might hate it, because I know some people come on this channel and as soon as I get personal with them, they just hate it because they're like, oh, I just want information. Just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? They just want to use me like a hooker or something. Just give me all your information for free, and then I don't care about connecting to you, right? So, but I'm all about creating and being creative. So I like giving information, don't get me wrong, but I like to also use this as a creative outlet. So I may, like I said, be doing some outdoor type adventures to camping, or not that I'm much of a camper, so that will be entertaining in itself. Bear wrestling in the woods, you know, whatever might happen. You know, I may have to start with raccoons and then work my way up into the bigger animals such as mountain lions and things, and then go towards bears and just trees. I might have to use a tree, kind of like a training kung fu thing. You know, I might have to go there, so you never know. So anyway, I'm thinking about getting a truck and going up in the woods doing that stuff as kind of like an interlude in between the other stuff, right? So yeah. Murph's Gym. Hey, good old Junior, did you end up going to Murph's Gym? Was it you that I was talking about, you going to Murph's Gym? Thanks, Teriyaki. Yeah, thanks for liking me. Yeah, thanks, man. For a long time, I didn't like me, so I'm glad that somebody's liking me. I like me now, but yeah, it's nice that somebody else is liking me too. Yeah, Mirthless One, camping videos. I'm thinking about, you know, doing stuff like, it'll be bodybuilding related, but I'll have like almost like an interlude in my vlogs of me going up in the woods and stuff, so you'll get some footage of me doing other stuff as well. So it'll be kind of just a way of mixing up the gym footage and stuff. Maybe I'll be still talking about how to train and this and that, but then I'll go back to survival moments with Jason or something, you know, something like that. But I think, you know, anything to make this stuff kind of fun for everybody. Yeah. Spill Goodine, you got any bicep long head exercises? Well, you know, if you're talking about this whole thing, incline curl, steep incline curl, best thing ever. I think is the best thing ever. Lucas Simmons, you know a guy in your town who's a bodybuilder and proudly claims he grew 33 pounds of muscle in a year. Is that possible? I would say he might have put 33 pounds on, and he might be thinking it's all muscle. That's probably possible, but it's probably not. It's probably about 15 pounds or something, and it might be his first few years of training. Yeah, or, you know, here's another thing. Okay, I want to say this. Muscle memory is extremely powerful, okay? So some people don't realize how powerful muscle memory is. I remember my brother years ago when him and I were both 20 years old, being identical twins and everything like that. Everybody thought, oh, you know, twins have to look exactly the same no matter what they're doing at all times because twins are the same, right? Well, guess what? Twins are similar, but not exactly the same. But anyway, we were both in the gym. We both put on quite a bit of muscle. Jamie had competed and stuff, done really well. Well, not at that point. At 22, we competed. He did really well. But anyway, he looked awesome. But anyway, at one point, 19, 20 years old, he was doing a lot of martial arts, a lot of karate training, still doing some weight training, still could rep out 225 on the bench, no problem, even though he was down to 160 pounds because he's doing super hard cardio and trying to concentrate on endurance and sparring and fighting all the time. And he became, you know, incredibly dangerous with his hands. You know, he was really, really good in the martial arts. So at some point he decided to stop doing the martial arts and just get more back into training. Well, in the first month and a half, 2 months, he put like 15 pounds back on his body because he just pumped right up because he had already had that weight before. That was his natural weight. And he stopped doing all this cardio. So his body just basically just blew up. So then everybody was thinking, oh my God, he must be doing something. It's like, no, it's just that he put that weight back on. So muscle memory blows all the rules out of the water. I've seen guys that didn't train for a year or whatever, but used to be really big, and they put muscle on like right away because their body was just so used to it before. It was like their natural set point. They just had to start eating and sleeping and training, and then that's it. The muscle just came right back on, right? Okay, Mirthless one is, can you build legs without squats? You can. I'd say squats are really useful, but you should ask yourself, okay, what is going on? Maybe your breathing's a little bit off. Maybe there's something going on with your core, your diaphragm area or whatever. Maybe you're not able to breathe because you're putting the weight on your back somehow. Maybe you've got a tight upper back and the rib cage. Maybe there's some trigger points in the ribs that are causing your breathing to go off. Get some massage on your upper back. Get some massage on there. Find out if there's some muscles that aren't functioning right, because I think when you're putting the bar on your back, maybe you're getting a little bit more of a tightening or constricting, so it might be affecting your breath, and that might be why you're getting dizzy. That's one theory anyway. If you're not getting dizzy from any other type of exertion, and that type of exertion is doing it, that's probably what's going on. Nick Cage and Con Air, I'm so insulted. Nick Cage, I don't look anything like Nick Cage. Come on, man. I mean, I'm ugly and everything, but I'm a different type of ugly, right? Okay. Robin 1020, yeah, I love Bloodsport. When I was a kid, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to actually be Jean-Claude Van Damme. I wanted, like, I could do the splits on the chairs, I could do the kicks and everything. I was a karate instructor, I could do all that. And when I was 20 years old, I became a karate instructor for a period of time. And I was totally into that. I wanted to be an action movie star. That was my thing. So I'd watch those Bloodsports and Chuck Norris movies, and I just loved all that stuff. So when I was bodybuilding, that was kind of the dream. I wanted to do the movies, and hence, you know, I was in little movies just doing little parts, and I got a couple commercials at some point. Like I was in Wrongfully Accused, which was the fugitive spoof with Leslie Nielsen, and I was in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch pilot, you know, these types of things. Oh, you're talking about his body then. Okay, I thought you were talking about his face. Tamerican or whatever. Timerkin, okay. Kickboxer was good too, yep. Hey, Maruz, how are you? Ryan, okay, are you asking me about my leg workout? I've got a bunch of leg workout type vlogs on here, so I'd get you to watch those if you really want to know what my leg workouts are. Yeah, I do a lot of squats, a lot of lunges. Toko Da Hood, okay, you're asking me, have I been on a magazine? Okay, what I want you to do is open up another tab on your computer right now, type in Jason Gallant magazine, and you will find me in all sorts of magazines all over the place. I was in the magazines all over the place. I was on the cover of a few, and yeah. Braves fan, what do I think of Kevin Levrone's comeback? I think it's going to be interesting. I think that, you know, if anybody can hold on to a career longer, as far as the sport goes, I think bodybuilding is one of those sports that can happen because you can train around injuries or you can deal with injuries in a certain way. Where, say, if I'm a hockey player or something like that, there's sometimes so many collisions and so many weird things that happen to the body that some stuff you just can't recover from. Like a lot of the guys that are hockey players, they get reconstruction surgery on their shoulders, their knees, their hips, you know, all these things are going on. And some of those injuries you just can't come back from and perform at the same as before. But bodybuilding, you can kind of change the exercise or change the range of motion or change what it is that's going on with your body and custom tailor your workouts from there. So I think it's a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing how Kevin Levrone looks, right? Good old Junior. How many sets should a person go for? Well, it all depends on your frequency. It depends on how many times a week you're working a body part. If you're working a body part once a week, you could do almost like infinite sets and probably recover. It might be a little bit too much, but I'd say if you're only working a body part once a week, I'd say anywhere from 15 to 30 sets for a body part you could get away with, right? But if you're working a body part every second day, that would be way too much, right? So I'd say probably only 5 sets or 5 to 7 sets or even 3 sets depending on how your recovery is. If you don't recover, if you're still totally sore the next time you train, that means you need to lower the sets down. So if anything, you have to experiment. It's kind of like saying how much food should a human being eat, right? That's a very general question. Everybody will be a little bit different. I could sit a 3-year-old down at the table and a 50-year-old and give them the exact same amount of food, but it wouldn't be appropriate to each. So it's the same thing with sets. It's about how are you adapting to these sets, what's happening. And when you find out what's happening, then you can make changes from there. That's why there's such a thing as personal trainers and coaches, because then the coach will say, okay, what's going on with your training, what's happening with you, and then from there they will make change, right? They'll say, okay, let's go higher reps right now, or let's cut a set back or something, you know? So that's why it's important to work with somebody that has more experience in some cases. Yeah. Corvette Guy 50. I've met Mike Menser, really nice guy. I don't really like his techniques as far as some of the techniques are good, but I don't believe in training to absolute failure and then not training a body part again for 8 days. I find that that is not a useful technique for me. It might be because my body's not capable of manifesting the intensity enough to cause this breakdown so that it needs 8 days to recover, okay? But at the same time, I find that one set fits all type mentality. Although it's not really one set with the HIIT training, it's like in multiple sets of extreme failure where you're almost throwing up and having a heart attack during your workout. It's extremely tough. But at the same time, I find that I would not be able to manifest that type of intensity if I'm only training once every 5 or 6 days. It's not enough. It's not enough for me, and I can't get the intensity there, so it wouldn't work. That stuff doesn't work. I don't believe in that technique as a whole. Most of the guys I met, most of them, yeah, I'm just gonna stay. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna stay with this. What I just said about it. I just what I do is what I believe in. I wouldn't be doing it if I believed in another technique. Okay, I'm doing what I believe is the most. So just watch what I do, and that's what I believe in. Jonathan Doherty, what do I think of slowing down reps to increase time under tension? So, again, I'm not slowing my reps down. Watch my workout vlogs. You'll see that I don't slow my reps down that much, except in the warm-ups. And there is a reason for that, okay? Because I find that once you slow the reps down too much, now you're accessing more endurance fibers and not the power fibers, but you get more result from accessing the fast twitch fibers, okay? So even when I'm using lighter weight, I still power up from the bottom. I don't just, slowly go up. Now, that said, I have done sets or workouts where I did slow workouts, and I did this for months on end to just try it, to experiment. And an interesting thing happened. I shrunk. I got actually smaller because it's almost like there was an ideal way to use momentum in order to be able to use heavier weight and to be able to hit those fast twitch fibers. And when I went too slow and too strict, it's almost like it worked against me. Now, should you do it once in a while? Yes, I believe you should do the slow reps. You should do the slow reps from time to time. The reason why you should do the slow reps is because it helps you find that groove, and it also is easier on your system, and you will hit different muscles as well. Okay, so when I'm doing slow bench presses, I find my delts get hit even more than my chest. Okay, so that's an interesting thing to note. So you will find that when you change the rep speed, you will hit different muscles. Drew Garton, just so you know, Marcus Reinhardt never ever competed in polygraph tested natural shows. Just so you know, okay? Never. Okay, so just so you know, natural shows, real natural bodybuilding competitions aren't just urine tested, they're polygraphed as well. They're polygraph tested and urine. And some people say, oh, the polygraph doesn't work. Yes, it does. There's a high percentage that the polygraph does work on. And if you want to know the proof of that, just look at the athletes in the competitions that are only urine tested, watch how big they are, and then go look at a natural show that is polygraph tested and see how big they are. And you will see that there's about a 20 to 40 pound lean muscle mass difference between the two. Why is that? Because these guys are natural and these guys, not all of them are natural. A lot of them are, but not all of them, right? Because urine tests, we all know urine tests can be got around. People have been doing it in the Olympics forever, right? Mirthless one, do you have to breathe through your mouth or your nose through on the compound lifts? I'd say breathe any way you need to. It doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're breathing, you know? So, yeah, Paulo, that's funny. Polygraph shrinks athletes. Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. Okay, Perk Bojan is asking how often per week should you train legs? Okay, I'm just going to do a commercial break right now, okay? I'm just going to do a commercial break, just 1 second. Right here, if you press on the money thing there, you can actually offer a super chat to support this call, okay? Because I'm answering a lot of questions here rather than doing a session with you guys. So if you want to support the call, that'd be great. If you can't, I understand. If you can't afford to, no problem. But if you want to support the channel, that really helps. So thanks a lot to those of you that do support the channel. And whether it's through buying bodybuilding products from my website, such as even using the affiliate links I use for shoes or for camera gear, or if you buy some of my weight training programs or my music. So thanks to all of you that have supported or who have supported this channel in some way. I just want to thank you guys for that. And yeah, I'm trying to find ways to make this viable so that way I can keep giving free information, okay? So, good. Commercial break done. All right. Now you can go. Now you can come back from getting popcorn, and we're back on track here. Okay. Ryan, breathe out your ass. That's funny. No, I don't think that's possible. You could try, but I wouldn't want to be around when you're doing it. Okay. All right. How often do you train legs? I train legs about 3 times a week. 2 times I'd say is minimum for me, because if you train it only once, for me, I found that I was out of shape by the time I came around to legs. You could talk about frequent training. You can actually watch the video. Sorry, I'm talking about frequent training. You can watch the video on frequent training that I made last week on does frequent training increase mind-muscle connection? And I talk all about this, about why I started training more frequently. There's a dog going crazy outside. I don't know what the hell that's about. I'm just going to close my window 1 second. Shut up! Some dogs got to be told, man. Some dogs have to be told. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be funny to me? Hey. Okay, Frank Peters, how are you? Okay, so a little off topic. How is Doug Hepburn remembered in the Vancouver area? I know the name, but I don't really know him. I can't remember. So I guess he's not remembered by me, but he might be remembered by a lot of other people. I'd have to look him up. Yeah, I'm sure he's a bodybuilder of some sort, but I remember the name. For some reason, I do know the name, but I haven't heard that name for a long time. Yeah, strabulation. What is the scientific evidence for mind-muscle connection? Many say it is bro science. So it depends what you mean by mind-muscle connection. The fact that you can move your arm means that your mind is actually firing the arm. Like, what do they think it's done by? What do these scientists think that you move the arm? Like, how do they think that happens? Do they think you're using the force? Is it like a Jedi power you're doing? Is that how you're moving your arm? Yanni, what are you being an asshole for? I know you, Yanni. What are you saying, drinking there? What are you talking about, man? Yanni, I'm waiting for your response. Why are you trolling? You're supposed to be a nice guy. I know who you are. This is Protein Powder. Why are you saying bullshit? Yanni? Yanni? Yeah, why are you being an asshole though? Hey, can you hear me, Yanni? You're saying drugs and stuff. You know that I'm a natural bodybuilder. I don't really like those types of jokes. They're kind of stupid, actually. So, if you want to be a part of the channel, you want me to answer your questions or help you out, then I don't really want to take that kind of crap. I take enough of it from trolls, not people that are supposedly, wanting some advice from me. So if you want me to keep helping you out, then yeah, I keep those comments to yourself because they're kind of rude. Okay. Okay, Sheng Li wants me to do a front bicep. Here you go. Yeah, Yanni, I've noticed that you've been kind of doing that a little bit lately. I don't know what's going on with you. Why you're kind of disrespecting me a little bit here. So I understand you're trying to be funny, but like I said, some of this stuff is not really funny to me anymore. You know, I understand when I get that kind of stuff from people that are just being rude because they hate me or something. But when you're saying that, that's actually what you're doing. So, yeah, try to watch what you say from now on. Otherwise, I'm gonna just sever our relationship here. Okay? So, come on. Yeah, shoot them up. That's the thing. I do get annoyed when somebody's my friend and they say something that is they might be joking and stuff, but it's not really accurate. So shoot them up. If I called, like I always use this thing, if I called you a murderer or a thief or something, or I said, hey, you stole my wallet when you didn't, you shoot them up, you'd probably be annoyed about that, right? You probably wouldn't like that, you know? So when you get accused of something you aren't doing, especially from people that are the people that you're helping, yeah, I mean, why should you have to take that shit? You know, why should I have to take that? Why should I be accused of stuff that I don't do, right? So, okay. So let me just go up here. Now that I've done this real talk, it's almost like I'm raising kids here. Some of you guys are like kids still, you know? Some of you. Some of you guys are real men too and good people, but some of you guys, I don't know what you're thinking. Let's just say this, the conversation we'd be having in person is much different. Yeah. Because, you know, I mean, I wouldn't just come into your house and just disrespect you and then when you get mad at me, I'm like, "Oh, why are you doing that? What's wrong with you?" Right? It's like I don't take abuse from people. That's it. Yeah. Dan Summerhill, I talk about this in a video. I said, why did I discover natural bodybuilding and why? Like, I had a talk with my dad at an early age, okay? And at an early age, I knew I was going to train for the rest of my life. And my dad was a powerlifter, and he told me the risks of drugs, and that's why I stayed away from them. And I made a video on this. I made a video on why I decided to be a natural bodybuilder, okay? And you can watch that down there, and you will find, okay? You'll find out everything. Okay, so let me get back to some real answers here. Okay, let me just go back here. I just want to say something here to the guy who donated $5. Okay, so Frank Peters, thanks a lot again. Thanks for donating that $5. You've already beat the grand total of 2 hours yesterday for $2. So thanks for that. You're a good man, Frank. You're a good man for helping me out. So let me know if there's a question I can answer for you there, Frank. Thank you. What age did I start bodybuilding? I started at 14 years old. David Granger, thanks. Yeah, 6,019 subscribers now. Man, it's been a slow road, this subscriber count thing. But, you know, the funny thing is, though, I want to talk about this YouTube thing for a bit, okay? There's sometimes people I see complaining because they don't have like 100,000 subscribers or 50,000, but then I go to their channel sometimes and I'll actually look at their content and I'm like, eesh, like now I know why they don't have, you know, 100,000 subscribers. So I'm thinking to myself always, I'm thinking, okay, what is wrong with my content? What is right about it? How is it serving people? How is it not? Actually, okay, so Chime Square, how did Frank donate like that? What you do is you click down here, like minimize this screen, and you can click on the dollar sign. There's a dollar sign, and it's called Contribute Super Chat. It's like a super chat. So it's right below where you're texting for comments. You just click on that, and then you can actually choose how much money you want to donate or not, right? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, let's get back to the question at hand here. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. So anyway, I was talking about YouTube channels. So some people are like, they have 50,000 subscribers or a lot, and then I can understand they're very clear, they're very to the point, they're very concise when it comes down to the information they're giving, or they're very entertaining, or they're likable in some way. I've thrown out my likability a long time ago. I said, okay, obviously I'm not likable, so I have to find some other way to connect with you guys and help you out. But that's why I'm always open to criticism. Sometimes you guys will say, hey, Jason, I didn't like the music on this, or I don't like the voiceover, or I need the audio louder or not so loud, or whatever. So I'm always open to comments and criticism just because that way I can actually help make better content for you guys, right? So, and collaborations I don't do. I don't do collaborations. The reason why is because most people with higher amount of subscribers don't want to do a collaboration with me because first of all, I don't have enough subscribers to offer them. So everybody says, just do a collab with a guy that has 10 million subscribers. Well, that's just like me saying to you, oh, you have money problems? Just go win the lottery, right? It's not going to happen. Guys that have 6 million subscribers or a million subscribers or 500,000 or 50,000, they don't care about me. I'm competition because I sell my own training programs. They're selling their own products. The last thing they want is me coming on their channel and stealing their customers, you know? So this is a business. YouTube is a business in a lot of ways. And as much as you give away a lot of free stuff being a YouTuber, you can't afford to give everything away for free, because at some point you got to be able to support the 30 or 40 hours a week you're spending in video editing and equipment and giving out this free information, right? So everything has to be sustainable. So I understand why these people don't have me on their channel, so that's why I'm not doing collabs, and I'm okay with that. I'm just okay just doing it organically, and we'll see how it all goes, right? But yeah, if you guys have other advice or something that you like to see, just let me know. And thanks Robin H for the $1 there. Thank you for donating that. I'm going to get to a couple more of you guys' questions here. 1 second here, though. I'm going to go up here. Okay, so Frances C. Hugh, okay, is saying, why don't I do live videos from the gym? Why don't I do live videos from the gym is a couple reasons. First of all, I do a live workout on my DSLR camera, so it looks better quality, and I give you that live experience at times, okay? I do those. So if you look at my playlist, live workouts, you'll find some of those there, okay? So I recommend that you take a look at them. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like about them or what you don't like, and then I will do some more of those in the future. But the reason why I don't do this live stream itself is because, as you can see, the quality of this type of video is not as good on my camera because I'm using my phone, right? I'm not necessarily using a good camera. I'm not getting the good footage and stuff. The other thing is that I'd have to have access to Wi-Fi that's fast enough in order to be able to upload at the right speed. Third, sometimes you get people in the shot that don't want to be in the shot, and now all of a sudden they're on live feed, and I can't take them off. I can't edit them out. I can't do anything about it. So that's another thing, right? And also, a lot of times I'm editing the music out in the gym, because if I don't edit that music out, there's going to be a copyright strike, and then I can't even monetize the video, or my channel might get copyright strike, and I don't want that to happen. So these are all reasons why live in the gym or in a public place where some things might be going on, such as music and this and that, it doesn't work, right? So, but I will be doing some more live workouts. Let me know, guys, if you like those. Take a look at the playlist of live workouts, watch a few of them, and give me a comment. Please give me a comment. Let me know, do you like it or do you not like it, or what do you not like about it? And then I can decide what type of content to give you guys, because I'm always listening. As you notice, like, you guys will make a comment or even ask a question on here, and then right away, or a few days later, you'll see there's a video up with that subject, because you guys are really giving me the ideas for the content, because I'm seeing how to serve you guys and help you out, right? Yeah. Yeah, Robin H, I still appreciate the buck, but thanks. Yeah, don't worry. If it's $2 or if it's $1, don't worry, man. Thanks a lot, though. I really appreciate that, Robin. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me just go up here. Yeah, Lucas Domingos, I think, there's a possibility of that the reason why my channel's not doing extremely well is because people want to know exactly what you believe in. They want almost like a fanatic type religion to say, okay, this is the only way to do things. And I'm showing people how I did it. And I would recommend a lot of the things that I use, a lot of the techniques I use in my training, I would recommend people to use them in order to gain muscle. I think a lot of the stuff I've discovered is the best for a lot of people. But I don't want to have the argument with them, because it's important for people to discover this on their own. Otherwise, all you do is argue with their own stubbornness, and they get mad at you and stuff. So I like it better when people try my technique, try their own technique, really find out what's true for them. And then when they do become an advocate of what it is that I'm doing, then they become a real advocate. They're not just convinced into it. You know what I mean? I don't want to convince people into my way just because I'm manipulating them somehow through, good gimmicks and whatever. You know what I mean? So it's good. It's good for people to find out what really works for them. Okay, Can Chew. What we need is to find a channel that has a lot of subscribers, likes the stuff, and give them a shout out. I've seen a couple channels go from 1K to 35,000 in a matter of months by collabs and shout outs. Yeah, no, a few shout outs would really help me out. More than anything, I've gotten slandered, and that's helped me a little bit here and there. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. I just keep on making content and keep on trusting that if I take care of people, they take care of me, and that's about it. That's just the way it is, So, a lot of times the reason why I'm not doing extremely well on this channel as far as like millions of people and stuff, the reason why is because I'm coming out in this whole fitness industry and saying the way that a lot of people believe to be true is not necessarily true, and that pisses a lot of people off. Really, a lot of people off. And then when I'm doing squats and I'm doing 90 degrees at the knee, not quite parallel, I'm doing 90 degrees, and then they're saying, "Oh, that's wrong. You're not alpha. You're whatever." They come up with all sorts of words for it. But the bottom line is I grew a lot of legs like this, and it's the most optimal way for my body to move. But a lot of people don't really take that into account. So they kind of hate you for it. They almost think, oh, you're just showing off or you're trying to be better than they are because you're lifting more weight. But the funny thing is that if I put 4 plates on their back and ask them to lift the same way, they won't be able to do it. So, but they'd be the first person to say, no, ass to the grass is the only way to squat. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand the limitation of their thinking. So whenever you oppose the general structure or consciousness around something, it is not going to be met with popularity at first. At first, it's going to be met with controversy. At first, people are going to hate you for it. Because you're changing the way society is thinking about a certain topic. And I'm not looking to get accepted by society. I'm looking to share the truth, and in time, people will come around to it. But at this point, right now, it's being met with controversy. Although, as soon as I meet a top-level pro in any sort of lifting, whether it's powerlifting or bodybuilding, they look at what I'm doing and they totally get it. They totally get it. It's only the amateurs and the beginners that don't understand what I'm doing. But it's not the pros. The pros all understand what I'm doing. Team Lub, I won't answer that question. There's no point. Yeah, Robin H. That channel does set me apart in some way, but there's other things that I do in my life that are different than bodybuilding. But yeah, I won't talk too much about that. But yeah, Chrono, it's always been like that. You have to be a little bit messed up to get attention. That's always the way it's been in entertainment. Even Mr. T and all these guys, they all had to have a shtick. They all had to have branding in some way. They had to have something that made them really like crazy, yo, foo, you know what I mean? Like they had to, talk a certain way, do things just so they were memorable. And I am memorable in my own way. In my own way, I'm memorable, I guess. But it's more about just what can you do for people. And when you do enough for enough people, then it all gets to a certain boiling point, and all of a sudden, boom, there's an explosion. And I haven't hit that boiling point yet. So some of you guys are using my programs right now. Some of you are seeing the benefit, and you're also acknowledging the fact that they're extremely cheap. And you're like, my God, this program's like gold. Why am I getting it for so cheap? And then from there, you're finding out that you're getting results. Then once you get those results, then people are going to be saying, hey, where'd you get those results from? And then you're going to be sharing, hopefully, that you got them from me somehow. You got some of the knowledge from me. And then from there, it'll all grow. But that's how things go, Organically, life is like that. And whatever you organically grow will be more stable. I really believe in that, because there are some people that get a viral video, or they get something that's really popular happen. Maybe they get a newspaper article about their business or something, and all of a sudden they get an influx of 1 million people in there, and then the next day it's gone because they just had one lucky break. But it doesn't mean that they ever knew how to sustain that or build it on their own organically. But as I build real relationships with you guys, that's different. Like a lot of the channels I watch, I've watched a lot of channels. I'm not really a fan of a lot of these channels, but I've watched just to see what's going on in the industry. And most of these guys aren't answering the comments in the messages down below. They might answer the odd one here and there, but they don't have time to deal with everybody. So there is really no personal connection. Where a lot of you guys, I can recognize your name right away. I know, you commented this and commented that. I can recognize and remember some of the history and what you guys have been talking about and some of the conversations I've had with you. And that's different, that's different than a lot of the channels out there right now. A lot of them are almost like radio shows or TV shows that are distant, and there's really no relationship with actual subscribers. So I think the relationship is most important. If you have a relationship, then I just trust in that. When you have a relationship with people and they honestly know who you are, then it's not this smoke and mirrors thing where you're trying to basically manipulate people into thinking something. It's more about, okay, here's what I am, here's what happened, here was my experiment, and you know that I'm telling the truth about that. And then you could try it out for yourself or not, but at least you know what you're getting when I talk to you, right? Okay, so Shengli, what's your opinion on building muscles with ego lifting and overloading the muscle? Yeah, ego lifting is just a fallacy. It's just for people that are jealous out there. They get pissed off with somebody when they're lifting heavier. And sure, they might be doing a shorter range of motion or not, but I know for sure that when you overload the body, like say I put 6 plates on my back and just walked out, that's a valid powerlifting technique, is to walk out with 6 plates on your back so the whole nervous system gets used to just balancing this through the back, through the hips, the muscles, even if you're not even squatting. This is a very powerful technique for increasing your strength and your ability to fire all the muscles. So there'll be obviously somebody out there that doesn't understand this technique. They think they don't even know how the body adapts, and they say, oh, that guy's ego lifting. No, he's not ego lifting. He's just applying a different technique. So yeah, I believe in using heavy weight with shorter ranges of motion at periods of time just to test the body and to push it in different ways. Okay. Did I use full body workouts in your younger years of bodybuilding? Age shown on the cover? I don't know what age you're talking about. What cover? What do you mean? Rock fun. How come you're so serious now while in your videos you look exciting and funny? Because I'm having a conversation with you. I'm having a conversation, rock fun. So, I mean, I could really annoy the shit out of you if I just kind of just run around in circles and just give random sort of answers to things. But, we all have different aspects of us, right? So it depends on what's being thrown at me will depend on how I react to it. So sometimes there's humor and sometimes there's aggression. Sometimes there's love. Sometimes there's love in all of it, but there's lots of different ways to interact as a human being. A lot of people get stuck in thinking Jim Carrey is probably perpetually just talking out of his butt. He's always just bending over and talking out of his butt when he's in a restaurant or when he's with his kids or whatever. But the thing is, Jim Carrey's an entertainer, and I'm sure he has a serious side too. It's not just comedy, right? So yeah, we all have these different aspects, right? So right now I'm talking to people and I'm teaching, and sometimes teaching through humor is great, and sometimes teaching through serious is great. Okay, so Emily B. Okay, yeah, so yeah, Emily B, I know I've been following you on Instagram, Emily, and yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what I'm doing with the 3-day whole body workout. I know that some people only have time to train 3 days a week. It's not really the way I train, but it still can work. And yeah, that's why I took this time now to then do the strength type training with you, right? So strength training, and then basically doing the endurance training the first 3 weeks. And Ruffet, okay, this is hilarious. Ruffet's calling me a pervert because I'm actually helping somebody with their training program that they bought through me. And funny enough, Emily's been getting trolled by her husband, which is hilarious. But anyway, the bottom line is that, yeah, just basically through changing rep ranges up and doing these different types of rep ranges and ranges of motion stuff, your body will adapt. And whatever it is that is your weak link at the time is what you have to hit. So that's why I do these different training programs with different rep ranges. So it is a form of periodization. It is a form of that. And when I'm doing that, what happens is that it gives the body a break in one aspect, but pushes it in another. And then, of course, the cycle continues. You basically get to strength training, then more hypertrophy, endurance training. And sometimes that whole strength versus endurance training cycle can happen within a week or within months. Like for a month, you can be strength training, or from a day, just strength training. And then the next day, you can be doing hypertrophy or endurance training. So yeah, I change things up all the time. So anyway, the programs do have that in there. All right, David Granger, I believe you. I believe you. Akash Gruel, you're talking about half reps or quarter reps. You can hear a lot of things, but here's the 30-year experiment, okay? So you decide. You decide, man. I mean, I'm honestly, like, people are always saying, I heard from somebody else. I heard from somebody else. Okay, I'm just going to tell you straight. You can hear a lot of shit. I can make up anything. People can make up a lot of stuff. People say lots of things all the time, but it doesn't make it true, right? So I'm sure you heard somebody say that crack cocaine is good for you. Does that mean it's true? Right? Are we just going to compare what everybody else says on the internet? The funny thing is, a lot of these guys that say this stuff usually have no physique, and usually they're not necessarily accomplished in the field, but they just say this stuff randomly because they don't understand the context, okay? Full reps, full range. I do full range. Do you hear me? I do full range. I'm doing full range. Can you see that? I'm doing full range, but I'm doing full range for my body. Do you understand? I'm doing full range for that certain muscle group. Some people say, Jason, you're not coming all the way up when you do barbell or dumbbell bench presses. Well, you know why? Because from here to here is chest. Then when I come in here and like this, then the delts start to come in. And to come here and here, I don't want my delts to hit failure. I don't want my delts to hit failure. I want my chest to hit failure. So there is a full range for a muscle group, okay? Then there's a full range for the joint. So the range for the joint is different than for the muscle group, and that's where people get mixed up, okay? So I'm doing full range for the muscle. I'm doing full range for the muscle, but I'm not doing full range in the actual joint itself, because the bottom line is that when you go up in certain ranges, then now maybe the rotator cuff becomes the weak link, or the tricep, and I don't want the tricep to hit. I don't want the tricep to hit full failure because I'm training chest in that moment, you see? So it depends on what your goal is. The range and the goal have to be matched. And I find a lot of people, they have a certain goal, but the range of motion they're using isn't actually accomplishing that goal. Some people say, I want to be able to train forever, so I'm going to hit full range. Well, what they feel is grinding at their joints when they're doing ass to the grass squats sometimes. Sometimes their knees are almost popping out of their sockets. Like I met a guy the other day, 16, 17 years old, and he's squatting ass to the grass, and it looks really pretty, but his knees are really bugging him now, right? But yet he says he wants to train the rest of his life. Well, obviously the goal and the range is not matching. You need to match your range with your goal, right? So, good night, Rock Fun. Good night, man. Yes, Keaton said I didn't do full body workouts, but I did 2 day splits and stuff. So I was doing 2 day splits and everything. Yeah. Can I bodybuild if I'm black and lazy? Of course you could if you just decide not to be lazy. That's all. Black has nothing to do with it. I don't know what that means, but. Rafat Alazada. Look at the guy's comment. It's not me saying it. That's the guy's comment. I didn't say anything. I just repeated what he said. Thanks, Mark Chara. Yeah. Yeah, Rafat's kind of weird. Okay, see you later, Rafat. See you, buddy. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Okay, yeah, all right. Tim's telling a joke there. Okay, thanks, Tim. So have you ever used trap bar deadlifts? Are they effective as regular deadlifts? They're easier on your lower back, but I'm sacrificing efficiency for safety. Not necessarily, but they're different because when you're doing barbell deadlifts, you have to bend over a lot more. So you're going to be including a lot more lower back, right? So it's just really a different exercise in itself. A trap bar deadlift is almost like a hybrid between a squat and a deadlift. That's really what it's like. So because the bar slides up and down your legs, it totally changes the center of gravity. So it's really a good place for a lot of people to start when they want to start deadlifting because it helps them get used to bending over and holding on to something at the same time. But at some point when you do the actual deadlift on the floor, it is a different movement and it does put a lot more stress on the lower back. And depending on how you're built, deadlifting from the floor might not be the right thing for you, might not be the most efficient way to be a bodybuilder anyway. And that's why I don't do it. I do Romanian deadlifts instead. I don't do deadlifts from the floor. My favorite Mr. Olympia of all time, regardless of what they took or take. Okay, let me see. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, honestly, as far as the overall body, the peaks and I still think Arnold was the best. Pony Club Maker, racism is not funny if towards anybody. Of course it's not. Yeah, no, racism is never a good thing. No, sir, racism is not cool. Okay, Rafat. Okay, this is Rafat again. Am I racist? No, I'm not. I'm not racist at all. Actually, Team Love Tip, you're right. Franco was better than Schwarzenegger. As far as overall symmetry, I believe that you're right there. But I think Arnold just had that nicer physique with a big bulbous type chest and back. Just the way he looked was, it was otherworldly in some way. It wasn't just his height. There was something otherworldly about his physique where Franco was like more compact and shorter kind of guy, but he just wasn't, it wasn't quite the same. But man, I really liked Arnold's physique. It was very picturesque and very had lots of neat dimensions and everything. Francis Hugh, how long have I been doing this? I've been doing this for 30 years. Trollman Greasy, do I think full body training is best for naturals? I'd say no. I'd say you need to train the whole body. You need to do more frequent training. And some people misunderstand this and call it full body training. But full body training, sometimes like say if you train legs in a workout and then you train back in a workout and then you train chest and then you train arms, you will find that sometimes you don't have as much energy for the arms or some of the other parts after you've done those major lifts. Now, are those major lifts more important? Yes, they are. So this is why I do full body workouts from time to time, but I do believe in training more frequently too. So just because I do a full body workout doesn't mean I take 2 or 3 days off after that, which is what some guys do, right? So I do about 2-day split, but then the odd time I'll throw in a whole body workout. Sergio Olivia was pretty awesome too. But I don't have as much knowledge of his career. And, you know, Arnold was so in your face because he was everywhere, right? Everywhere you looked, there was a picture of Arnold too, right? Yeah. I'm 43 there, Pads Gaming. Jason Mullins, heavy negatives on machines. Stability and coordination seems fine. I like the pec deck, seems safe. I know you're not a fan, but any instance? I would say the pec deck or isolations on a machine, do not do heavy negatives on. Do not do heavy negatives in an isolation. You will tear something, Jason. I 100% believe that, and I've seen it. Do not do heavy negatives like such as weight that you can't even do a positive rep, like it's way beyond, and then heavy, like come down. Do not. You will tear something. I swear to God, like I'm protecting your life right here. Do not do an isolation heavy negatives. There's a reason why heavy negatives are usually only done with compounds. And I'm not much for that either, but if you're going to do the heavy negatives, do it on a compound so that way the stress can transfer to the tricep or the shoulder or the pec, depending on what you're looking at, okay? But if it's isolation, the stress doesn't have anywhere else to go, so you may tear something, okay? So don't do that. Akash Gruel, I was a thinner guy. I don't know why you have to swear in there or what that has to do with, but I was a thinner guy. I was a martial artist. I was an athlete. I was more of an ectomorph, endomorph kind of, you know. And David Granger, you know, Easter's over. Your reps for Jesus needs reignition. That's hilarious. Yeah. Okay, Chime Square. I switched to high reps last week from low reps. Your hamstrings are still a little sore 5 days later from deadlifts. I'm eating good. Is there anything else I can do to help recover quickly? Massage. Massage really helps. That is a thermostat back there. Yes, it is. Yeah. It's actually, it's how I activate the Bolo app. I just press that button and then I could choke people through the screen if they offend me. No, it's actually just the thermostat. So anyway, it's, basically massage helps because it helps with blood flow. That's one thing that I would recommend. Supplements like glutamine and branched chains may help. Vitamin C also helps. Vitamin C helps you recover from soreness faster. You'll notice that if you get a bruise on your leg or something like that, if you get bruised really easily, then you might be vitamin C deficient, so that may help. Those are just a couple tips right there. Arm size, I'm almost 18, 17 and a half to 18, depending on pump and all that. I row 70. I don't do the powerlifting deadlifts. I do Romanian deadlifts. Just look at my channel, watch my vlogs. You will see like how to do a Romanian deadlift and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I do for my hamstrings. So you'll see there. Yeah, foam rollers. Foam rollers can be good. Let me show you something that I have here. 1 second. I've never been able to find another one of these, but this is like a massage ball, right? So basically you can lay this on the ground and dig this into a muscle knot or trigger point of some sort at some point. So this has helped release a lot of trigger points and stuff. Like say I lay it on the leg or in the quad or the hamstring, and this really helps release. So it's kind of like a foam roller, but better. It's better than a foam roller because I found with foam rollers, it puts some pressure on a general area, but the area is so general. So pounds per square inch really makes a difference. Shakti Shaker saying Dr. Ho's help too. Okay. It is painful, actually. Trollman Greasy, it is actually kind of painful, but what it does is that it helps release that muscle out of spasm and then it helps restore blood flow to the area. Akash Gruel, or whatever, Gruel, supplements that I take, I did a video on this, the whey protein. Look at the whey protein I'm taking right now. Francesco, Hugh, same answer to you. Watch the video, whey protein I'm using right now. Trollman Greasy, I'd say massage works great after a workout, but honestly, it's not just about post-recovery, it's more about just restoring balance to the muscle once the balance gets dysfunctional. So even if you go to see a massage therapist a couple days after a workout, it's still effective because what you're doing is restoring the blood flow to the area, right? So there's post-workout massage that can help pump blood in the area, which could be great. So I don't think it really matters when you do it. Except for you don't want to get a super aggressive massage. This is one secret tip, okay? This is really important, so pay attention to this. Don't get super deep massage before you're going to go do a heavy workout. If you do super deep massage before you do a heavy workout, you may pull something, so do not do that, okay? Tim Evchi, I'm not commenting on other people, so I'm trying not to, okay? Chevy guy, I don't have any comments on TRT. I don't do that. I don't really believe in it, to tell you the truth. So, Toucan Chew, have you found recovery takes longer the older you get? No, not for me at this point. My recovery is pretty much the same. It's just that my mileage is different. You know, I dislocated the shoulder from hockey and tweaked some things. It just depends on how much sleep I can get and everything too, of course. Yeah, David Granger, that's true. Deep tissue massage is agony. It feels so good and bad at the same time. But yeah, it can definitely help restore function to an area, right? Jorg Gomez, do I think women bodybuilding should be a thing? I think women lifting weights is fine. I just don't like the whole drug thing. The drug thing is stupid. It's ruined men and women everywhere. I think it absolutely totally destroys human beings, and I think it's just stupid. So that's the problem I have with the women's IFBB bodybuilding. But women lifting weights, I totally think it's great for them. I think it's awesome. They look great, and they don't get bulky or anything. They achieve the physique they want. They get stronger, more functional. Why not? I think weight training is perfect for women. Okay. One second here. Okay, just dealing with somebody here. Okay, so. Oh, Robin, you gave me another buck. Thanks. So I got $2 from Robin. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, David Granger. Yeah, there are some people that have multiple profiles. It's kind of stupid. YouTube should really take care of that. When you block somebody, it should actually block all their accounts for that email address, but for some reason it doesn't. It's just a total glitch and it's stupid. So hopefully YouTube watches this and finds this out because, yeah, there's some deficiencies in their system, that's for sure. Houston X, do I use pre-workouts? I answered that earlier. In a bunch of other videos anyway. I use branched chain amino acids from time to time, but I don't use ones with stimulants or aspartame. So yeah, that's really what I use from time to time. I don't use it all the time though, but yeah. I eat about 5 times a day. Francis Hugh, that's how much I'm eating right now. That's including a protein shake or something, right? Foxer, who are you swearing at there, Foxer? What's going on there, buddy? Foxer, 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 Foxer. Who are you swearing at? Are you mad at somebody? I feel like I'm running an orphanage. George Gomez, how popular do you have to get until you get money on YouTube? You don't have to get popular till you get money. It's just how much, right? And the problem is that people underestimate how much equipment and time it takes in order to run a YouTube channel. You know, people always ask me, Jason, what do you really do? I'm like, no, I don't have time to really do anything. Besides this channel and a couple other channels I run and stuff, it's part of my work. It's all entrenched in that, right? Okay? So the bottom line is that, when you spend 30 hours a week doing something, or 25 hours or whatever, you don't have a lot of time to have another job on the side. And then, of course, that's not including my training time and everything too. So basically, when you get 100,000 views on YouTube, you make about $200. That's about it, 100,000 views. Now, my entire channel doesn't get 100,000 views in a month. My entire channel gets around 65,000 views, right? So that tells you right there, how much money you get and how busy you need to be and how many views you need to get in order to really make a living to self-sustain it. That's why things like super chats, or you need to sell products sometimes, because otherwise you'll be trying to stream from outside in a park because you don't have a place to live. So yeah, you need to find a way to support it, sustain it anyway. You're welcome, Rob Sim. Yeah, you're welcome for the advice. Thanks, buddy, for tuning in. Thanks for the positivity. Always appreciate that. Francesco Hugh, wish my dad was like you. Yeah, that's why I decided never to be a dad. Because I think being a dad probably changes you. I think once you become a dad, then, you know, the stresses of it all probably, who knows? What do I think about The Rock, Mateo Ortega? Actually, if you rewind this video about 45 minutes from now or something like that, I talked about The Rock quite strongly, actually, because I met him once. I really liked him. Okay, I'm just going to scroll up here. What do I think about Lee Priest? Okay, I'm going to comment on this because I just was watching one of his videos the other day. Lee Priest is actually kind of a funny dude. I met him once too, working out at World Gym there, and yeah, he was actually kind of a nice guy. I disagree with some of the things he says about training and everything because he had, you know, some pretty strong opinions in this one video years ago. I don't know if his opinions are the same now, but years ago he was saying guys that retain water from certain types of foods are just lying. They're just fat already. That's why they retain water. But I have discovered, you know, like for instance, I'm just going to shoot that argument right down right now. Okay, if somebody has anaphylactic shock to peanut allergy or something like that, they blow it up right away, right? So that proves that certain people can have food sensitivities that can cause them water retention. So although he's right about 60 or 70% of the time, some people are just not in shape, and that's why they have to worry about their water so much. The other thing is that when you are sensitive to a certain food and it's not the right food for you, it will cause you to retain water. So you do need to be conscious of this if you're doing pre-contest prep. And I did make a video on the week before pre-contest prep, what to do and all that kind of stuff. So that does make a difference. Shakti Shaker, what are you saying? You're saying no, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Oh, I think you're saying no, it doesn't change you as a person. Oh, okay, so yeah, yeah, that's exactly it, Shakti Shaker. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, Lee Priest was basically saying that doesn't exist. He's saying no, food. People talk about water retention doesn't exist. That's what he's saying in one of his videos. So that's what I'm contesting. Yeah. Jordan Mastro Cesare, or whatever, do you think using wider grip on flat barbell bench can help improve strength as it shortens the range of motion? It depends what you mean by improve strength. Lifting more weight doesn't mean improving strength if you're making something easier, right? You know, so it depends what you mean by that. Improve overall strength. I think you should do the movement that feels most natural for you on the bench. That's what I think you should do. Don't go over wide or over narrow. You know, find what the natural range is that feels the safest on the joints and find the most efficient way of moving the weight. Mason Cochran, can you use some glue to fix my parents' marriage? I think I could do that. I'm not sure they'd be very happy about it. It's kind of like tying two cats' tails together and say, get along, cats, get along. And it says, yeah, I don't know if glue would do it. I don't know if that's going to fix it. What is my resting pulse during training? My resting pulse during training, isn't that kind of like a contradiction, resting and training? Do you think that my training is so low intensity that it's like resting? Is that true, what you're saying? Can you see the contradiction there? Can you see what you just said? What's my resting pulse? Like, okay. I don't know how many taste bugs are on the tongue. Too many probably. Yeah. Resting pulse, I don't know. I don't take my pulse rate during training, so. Okay, am I a fan of Ninja Warrior? Ever seen Ultimate Beastmaster? Ever think of giving it a shot? Just competing could be a good exposure channel. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that shit a shot. I mean, that's just jumping and stuff and doing like the ropes and everything. That is horrible on a dislocating shoulder. That is definitely not something I want to be doing. I don't have the fall funny and tweak a shoulder, something that would not be good for the injury history that I have going on. So there's no way in the world that I'd ever be doing that. Yeah. Am I going to compete in 2017? Probably not. Probably 2018 if I do. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I haven't even talked to the federation. The problem is the show that I want to compete in is a show that I've already won, so I don't know if they'll let me compete in it. But we'll see. What was the hardest muscle for me to grow? Calves, probably. Calves, and yeah, I'd say calves and chest. Yeah, calves and chest. I'd say calves and chest, but calves mostly, yeah. And yeah, calves. For sure, calves. I've been slacking on calves too. I did some jumps yesterday and some calf raises yesterday, but now I'm trying to basically get more calf training in. I got to really concentrate on it, bring them up again. Team Love tip, any views on cross training? I don't like CrossFit, if that's what you're talking about. For most people, not everybody, but most people, I think it's tough. How many eggs do I eat in a day? I don't eat any eggs. I don't eat eggs that much. Lucas Domingos, I think a frequent training split is really good for people that just got back into training. You just got to make sure the volume is low. But I think that people make exponential gains from training more frequently with lower volume. David Granger, you're basically sharing a lot of really good tips right now. Saying, did you know that banging your head against the wall burns 150 calories an hour? I hope that there's some trolls on here that take that advice. 30 pounds in 12 weeks of fat loss. What's your take on that goal? I think it's a little bit too extreme, a little bit too fast. Because sometimes when you lose fat at that rate, you tend to lose a little bit of muscle because you're not actually losing all fat. You can lose 30 pounds, but it's going to be a lot of muscle in there because you can really only lose about a pound and a half a week, really, overall for long term tops. Okay, so I would not put your goal so much on weight, but more about a body composition. That's more important. Oh, you're being trolled? Okay, sorry, David. That's happened to me too a few times, so I understand. No problem. Experience with Mad Cow. I don't have any experience with Mad Cow. If I did, I probably wouldn't be doing this channel right now. I'd probably be dead. Akash Gruel. I'm going to butcher your name again. What do I think about drinking raw eggs? I think you can get away with it sometimes. It's a risk, though, with the salmonella, if there's some eggshell or something like that in there. Do I know something about if it fits your macros? I did a video on that, what I think about if it fits your macros, actually, so watch that. I don't think it's really the best way to diet or take care of your health just because it doesn't take into account the quality of the nutrients, right? So sugar is not just like any carb, right? Complex carbs are going to be different than sugar carbs. So I think you got to take that into account, right? Jeremy Lopez, where am I from? I'm from Western Canada, so it's around the Vancouver area. Same time zone as LA. So Shakti Shaker, you're saying 40 reps. What are you talking about now? You're just doing random, I know Shakti Shaker personally here, okay? So don't worry, guys. I'm just pissing on him here because I know him. Shakti Shaker, what are you doing? You're doing like one-word answers, two-word things? Like, what are you saying? Elaborate a bit. Are your fingers broken? You can't type? Or what's going on here? What are my thoughts on using resistance bands, either alone or with weight? I think that they're great. I think they can actually add a lot. I don't use them myself, but I can see the advantage to them because they do increase the torque curve as you get more to the extended state. So I think, say, if you're doing bands, when you're doing bench press and stuff, it'll help you get the lockout, help you get more strength on the lockout with taking some of the stress off the stretch position. So it helps you use heavy weights without being at the same risk of being in a stretch state. So I think the bands can have a really good effectiveness or ratio of effectiveness to preventing injury, right? Leon Solin, any tips for bigger traps, heavyweight stretch? Learn how to train back. That's the most important thing. I did a video on this, how to train back, and then I did another video, how I got big traps. And a lot of it has to do with learning how to train your back. Because the traps work in conjunction. You see this, watch. When I'm shoulders, pulling back. Shoulders, pulling back. This is traps, but that also happens during your back workout when you're pulling back. But most people, when they pull back, they're not even doing this motion. They're doing just rotating around the shoulder. And that's why they're not really getting trap development from their back workout. They're doing arm work when they're doing their back workout. Heavy lifts, bro, saying, yeah, but how is the muscle building process different with sugar and complex carbs? It is different because when your insulin spikes too extreme, at some point you become insensitive to it, and then your body is no longer able to shuttle the nutrients into the muscle as effectively. And if there's no nutrients, there's no muscle growth. So that's how it affects it there. Heavy lifts, bro. Oh, somebody asked how many times I can lift my body weight, bench press my body weight. Yeah, it was around 40 times, somewhere in there. I don't know, it's probably a little bit more. Yeah, but I was born in Newfoundland, boxer fencer. Come on, can a guy be born somewhere else? Hey, can a guy be born somewhere else than where he lives now? Huh? Huh? Yeah, I was born in Newfoundland, but I moved here right when I was 4 years old. So, hey, boxer fencer. Hey, you want a couple of these? Hey, you want one? Hey. David Granger, you do isolation and compound. Do both. It's not about which. Do both. Okay, let me just go up here. All right. Okay, go back down. Okay. Mark can talk more about natural competitions in my country. I think there's one coming up here in Western Canada, like where I live, in about a month or something like that, in the WNBF, or it's called INBF in here. I don't know if I'll go look at it or not. Maybe I'll get out there. I might actually get out there with Kyle Murphy. We might go watch or something. I know he's going. Most likely, though, Kyle won't invite me, or he'll pretend to. He'll say, "Hey, Jason, I'll give you a call, and we'll go out there together, and no problem." And then I'll never hear from him because that's kind of the way Kyle is. He was actually how I know Kyle is that he apparently was my fan from years ago, but I think that long since faded after he met me. So now he's no longer my fan. But hey, I'll bug him. Now I've decided to move in his neighborhood. Now I will be working out at his gym, and as I do that, I'm sure that I will regain his fanhood again. That's my big goal. Renee Lynn Doucette. Oh, you learned how to use the internet, eh, Renee? Hey, you're really mastering this puppy, eh? You're on the internet again. It's pretty good. Peter Fisher, you're saying your resting pulse, you mean pulse after your exercise, that you think it improves your training. I wouldn't pay attention to pulse because remember, when you're weight training, you're not doing cardio. It's not a cardio exercise. So it really has very little to do with weight training and building muscle, okay? So you're trying to treat, this is a common problem with North Americans. They try to treat weight training as a cardio workout. Now, if your goal is cardio, okay, fine, you can do that. But if your goal is gaining muscle and being a bodybuilder, then this is not really relevant. What you want is your heart rate not to be the weak link. You want your muscle burn, your muscle fatigue, and your nervous system strength and everything like that. You want that to be the weak link. You want that to be what stops the set, not this whole, cardio. That is more of a circuit type training, which has very little to do with bodybuilding. It's good for fat loss for periods of time. You can do that for that if you have that goal in mind, but it is not actually really a relevant way of doing progressive overload or increasing strength, and so that way you increase overall muscle mass, right? Hey, Khalil Anjar, how are you? I'm 5'8", abs faceless. And you got the Goju Karate fist. That's Goju Karate right now. Don't think that I don't recognize that. Hey, that's Goju. I did Goju Karate for like 10 years. Hey, Mr. Miyagi. Chogun Miyagi, eh? I know that. I bet you're pretty excited that I know that. I bet you that makes you excited. I bet you didn't think I knew that. Good night, Lucas Domingos. Good night. Renee Lynn. Okay, David Granger's talking funny. I don't know what he's doing. There's a different, the second David Granger, I mean. I know Renee, guys, just so that's why I'm bugging her. I know her. Leon Salen, the thing is, how can you prove that you're natty? I think you are, but still. Well, the thing is, you can do polygraph tests, you can do urine tests, and I've done many of them, and if people still don't believe me, when I've looked even better than this, and I've still passed tests, then, what can you do, right? Some people don't want to believe it anyway. The people that know me, when they truly know me, they believe it because they know who I am and what makes me tick and why I do what I do, right? They believe me 100% because they know, they know my value system. When you know somebody's value system, then you will automatically know what they're going to do. Jason Mullins, my brother weighs about, what are you weighing right now, Jamie? What are you weighing? I think he weighs around 215 right now, 210, 215. He's definitely not in shape right now for him as far as bodybuilder lean shape, but he's strong though. He's in good shape for lifting. But Markin, I don't like to talk about people on YouTube that much. I don't want to talk too much about that, okay? Good job, Renee. Yeah, glad you're squatting again. Yeah, I'm glad that's working. N1 Scrump, what age in my life did I gain the most muscle? I would say from 14 years old to about 26, 27. That's when I gained the most, you know? So that was because those are the first years. You're always going to gain the most in the first decade of training. That's really the truth. Darius Lux, you're German and you're starting in the gym and you want a couple tips. Start slow. Don't put too much expectation on yourself to be the best right away. Just work through it and learn to enjoy it. That's the most important thing. Learn to enjoy working out. Learn to find what range of motion works for you. Learn to train the way that works for your body. You know, get a trainer. Actually, get a trainer, somebody that's experienced. That's a really helpful thing to get you speeding along, you know. A lot of people, they just try to figure everything out on their own, and sometimes it can slow things down quite a bit. Afternoon, mate, feed, kill, repeat. Do I like sauerkraut? Yeah, I do like sauerkraut. Actually, sauerkraut's pretty good. Vladimir Pavlovic, is it worth doing those old school chest expanders with springs? No, probably not. Mark, and how to boost natural testosterone? I would say make sure you're not deficient in anything. My brother was saying this the other day, like zinc. A lot of people are deficient in zinc. So the ZMA type stuff may help those people because they're deficient. So make sure you're not deficient in minerals. That's really one major way to make sure that you don't have insufficient hormone levels going on in your body. But it helps a lot of processes. So making sure you don't have deficiencies is really important. Oh, thanks, Elliot Scott Dating. You're still around. I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard from you, Elliot Scott Dating. I talked to you about music a couple of times ago, but you never did get back to me. You never did message me or nothing. I thought you wanted to use my music in your videos, but I guess not. I guess it wasn't helpful enough to tell to the people you're helping. So, how much do I charge? I do consultations on my website. $200 is for an hour. But yeah, if you want to do a half-hour session, I could put something up on my site that's half price for that. So $100, I guess. We could do something like that. Okay. Okay, Warwick, here you go. Here's biceps. See, I'm showing you. There you go, showing you the biceps. Sorry guys, I got to do that, I guess, because I'm a bodybuilding channel, so I have to fulfill the stereotypes of bodybuilding at times. Okay, Khalil Anjar, sorry, you're asking about what do I think about low carb and low fat diet, or either which one is more relevant. I think both are relevant at different times. I think sometimes you need to go through different seasons in your eating, okay? So I went to lower carb and higher fat for a period of time, and I found that was really good for resetting my blood sugar in my system. So that way when I started to eat carbs again, it seemed like my body was actually filling out and using the carbs in a more efficient way. So I was increasing my insulin sensitivity because I was making sure my blood sugar was very stable all the way throughout the day for weeks or weeks on end, okay? So after that happens, then sometimes it helps reset your receptors for your own hormones and things in your body, so that way your body can now pull food in better. Now that's what I experienced it as. It also helped me drop a bunch of body fat that was happening from eating too much sugar and stuff. It helped reset my habits as far as eating more protein in my diet. So that was good. So I think both diets are good. I think it's good to kind of move back and forth, not to be really just married to one or the other, but to find which one works for you in this moment. But as a general rule, I think a lower fat or moderately low fat, good glycemic carb and protein diet is better for putting on muscle mass, right? So I just got rid of a troll there. Okay. What do I think is better for looking good and shredded? I think having carbs, like low glycemic carbs and protein is better for looking good and shredded because you're going to look more filled out and everything, right? How did I measure my blood sugar level? I didn't, but I can tell when, I'm sleepy all the time, or sometimes you can tell when your blood sugar drops, when you get tired and then you're wide awake and then tired right away right after you eat. If you get really sleepy right after you eat, that's a sure sign that your blood sugar is dropping. It goes high and then low. Potatoes and brown rice is better than white rice as a whole. Potatoes are way better than pasta, and rice is better than pasta. And basically, I would stick to yams and sweet potatoes if I could, and oatmeal. Those are better carb sources if you're going to have carbs in your diet. 6% body fat is going to be a better look, George Gomez, because it's going to show a lot of tone and everything. But yeah, it's very hard to maintain that. Elliot Scott dating. Anyone here watch Dragon Ball Z Super? No, I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. See you, Francesco. That's funny. Oh, okay. Hey, Cameron D, how are you? I still expect that essay. You haven't written that essay yet. I haven't got it through my email. So, don't think you can slack, man. Leon Solin, I think I answered this before. Look at my video, why I decided to be a natural bodybuilder. Just go in the little magnifying glass down here, and why I decided to be a natural bodybuilder. And that video will come up, and you can watch that. That'll give you all your answers. Okay, so Harbinger is saying, which do you think are the best exercises to bring up lagging rear delts? And should you focus on the weight or put form first? It's you focus on both. The thing is, form, some people mix up form. They think form means if I don't move. Just doing something so don't move. I want to be totally stable and perfect. But the form has to fit the function. So what I'm saying is, when you're doing something, as long as the form is there, that actually produces the result, which means sometimes a little bit of swinging to get that extra squeeze at the top can actually help you build bigger rear delts. So sometimes being more strict will keep you from growing muscle. So a lot of people have this obsession with strictness, but that actually can keep you from growing muscle, because now the strictness becomes the weak link in the exercise, because you can't use momentum, or the natural way that the body uses counterbalancing forces in order to move in the most efficient, fluid, constant tension sort of way, right? So I'll swing a bit when I do the rear delts and stuff, but that's because I get way more contraction and a way better pump doing that, right? And I can go deeper into failure. Sometimes just swinging a little bit, you can get an extra few reps, right? Where you just can't do that when you're too strict. P. Lots. That's not dangerous advice for beginners, because beginners should still be trying to find out what is the right range for them, or what is the right motion for them. You see, it's not like just just throwing weights randomly around. I'm just saying that there's weights, like what strict is. That definition is not necessarily accurate. Some people say, oh, everything's got to be like this, just really slow and everything. It's good to start like that, but that's not necessarily the most efficient way to train. I mean, you don't see a professional bodybuilder just going like super strict so much that he can't even freaking move the weight. You understand what I'm saying? You got to start with understanding how to do an exercise, but not necessarily being so strict that you don't even move, like you're so scared, like you're almost like frozen, and then you're just trying to be super strict. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit of an obsession about strictness. It's almost like people are so strict that they're afraid to move, right? And that's not actually helping muscle gains. Peter Fisher, what kind of watch do I wear right now? A cheap one. Timex. It's just a cheap one. Do I use fasting aerobic training? Not at this point, I don't. George Gomez, for calves, weights or reps. I did a video on this, secret to building calves. I find doing both. Like all the other muscle groups, you do weight and then you do some reps and then also some plyometrics. I find plyos are really good for calves because they're really a dense muscle that has a lot of endurance and power in there, but a lot of endurance fibers, so it's hard to break down. You just want to do it so it's not too aggressive, though. You don't want to basically detach any sort of tendons or anything. Okay, P-Lots. You're asking a question? Not really understanding what you're saying. Oh, here you go. Okay. Yeah, Pilots, you don't really know my history. I think you need to watch some of my videos so you can understand where I'm coming from. I think you're kind of misunderstanding me a little bit. So watch my videos. You'll see that my philosophy on training is pretty open. Okay, I'm pretty open, but at the same time, there's a lot of common sense in what I'm saying. It's just that I'm not in a gym right now to show you what I'm talking about. But the bottom line is that I don't want to indoctrinate somebody into an obsession around a religion or a fanaticism around how things should be done, because that's the big thing that happens with beginners. Sometimes they get indoctrinated into saying this way has to be done this way, and then they get kind of stuck. So it works almost like a prison for them. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't do certain things. Obviously, I don't put weight on my back and then drop to the floor as fast as I can and then try to get up at the bottom. Obviously, you don't do that. That's obviously I'm not saying that, but this is not an instructional video, right? This is not an instructional video, obviously. I'm not in the gym right now. I can't really instruct through the lifting because I don't have the weights here, and I can't do it, technically speaking, right now. So, this is why. So, heavyweights, bro. Should you try to move heavyweights explosive like powerlifters? If your joints feel good, and if you're coming down slowly or medium weight, and then didn't explode after you've stopped the weight, then explode, yes, I think that could be good. Yeah, I think that could be good. For building strength, for sure. Once you've got the form down, you know what you're doing. Good night, Peter Fisher. People are asking me what I think about other people. I don't know a lot of these people, and I don't really comment on people that often. Okay, guys, so I keep saying this. Steve Stronger, I talked about the HIIT training system. I have a video on that, what I think about HIIT. And I also talked about this earlier. I don't believe in the Mike Mentzer training style, to tell you the truth. Not for me. It never works. I got a bunch of reasons for that. If you want to just scroll back in this video and watch from the beginning, you'll actually see what I said about it. Yeah, Frank Peters, who's the better rooster rower? You or Jamie? Jamie's definitely better at rooster rowing. Sorry, I'm scrolling through here. Yeah, Cameron D, I hit 6,000 subscribers, but I need your help, man. It's got to get to 60,000. Come on, man. Come on, Cameron. Pick it up. Pick it up, will you? Come on, you're going to do your job around here. First no essay, now this. Now you're in the marketing department. You're totally failing. Come on. Okay, what else here? Yeah, rack pulls above the knee are great. Romanian deadlifts are great, also for building back and hamstrings. So yeah, I love all those. Yeah, rack pulls are awesome. Carol OG, if you eat healthy, but you don't eat too healthy, but you're going to the gym 5 times a week and you take protein and creatine, can you build a physique? You can build muscle as long as you're getting enough of the foods that are going in there. But if you're taking in lots of fat, lots of sugar, and all this kind of stuff, you may put on some muscle, but depending on your metabolism will depend on how much fat you're putting on, right? You might put on a bunch of fat, or you might not take in enough protein because you're stuffed full of the other stuff, right? You're stuffed full of the junk food. So can you build a great body? That depends on the person's genetics and stuff. But will you build a better body if you pay attention to your diet? Yes, you will. You'll build a way better body if you pay attention to your diet. There's a reason why all bodybuilders pay attention to their diet. If it didn't work, they wouldn't be doing it, right? It makes a big difference. Steve Stronger, once in a while I work out my brother, not too often though. I haven't actually seen the Generation of Iron bodybuilding video. I saw clips of the first one, but I don't know the second one. I don't know what's going to be going on there or whatever. I think, if anything though, the stuff that I do know about it, I think they try to create the drama, because the only way you can make a video kind of interesting is if there's some sort of conflict. It has to be storytelling, right? And if there's storytelling, sometimes they got to create conflict where there might not be some conflict. They have to portray Phil Heath as not necessarily so nice, and they have to have a good guy, bad guy type idea going on between him and Kai and whatever. So yeah, what do I think about it? It was okay. It was okay entertainment, I guess. It was all right. I don't mind watching that stuff here and there, but it's not my first thing. If you want to ask me what I really like for entertainment, honestly, I like Mountain Monsters. I think number 2 came out yesterday. Season 5, episode 2. I love that show. I think that show is just so funny. That show makes me laugh, and actually connect to the characters like Wild Will and stuff. And I know some of it's fake and everything like that, but I don't care about it. It's done well, and it's good storytelling. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So yeah, if I'm gonna watch a show, I'll probably be watching that rather than the bodybuilding kind of Generation Iron thing. Not to mention Generation Iron website doesn't promote my videos enough. They promoted one, but they never promoted any other one. So Infinite 4, sub for sub doesn't work, just so you know. If you get people to subscribe to you, what's the point of somebody subscribing to your channel if nobody's going to watch your stuff? Do you understand? It's just dumb. Don't be doing this sub for sub thing. All you're going to do is get unsubscribed or blocked from channels because you're just spamming. And at the same time, it doesn't work. It won't build your audience. And your audience has to do with views, if people are watching your stuff or not. So just so you know, it's not a way to get your channel out there. If you want to get your channel out there, find out how you can help another channel somehow, and then they may thank you by giving you a shout out. Okay. The Yates bent over rows give you a big back. For sure they do. For sure they give you a big back because you're rowing, but you're not letting your lower back become the weak link. You're letting your lats and your traps become the weak link in the exercise. So Dorian Yates definitely had the right idea the way he rowed. Yeah, Cameron D, I actually don't cook the food that I put on there. I'm actually just going to a restaurant and stuff. So, but I'm going to be putting some of that in my video actually soon. You know, my post-workout eating and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I just don't have my camera with me and I just have my phone. And sometimes I do bring my camera, but my camera takes up quite a bit of space and it's not really convenient sometimes to have a tripod set up in a restaurant and stuff. People looking at you kind of funny because you're videotaping yourself, right? So I'm going to try to put more of that vlogging type style stuff into my workout videos from time to time if you guys want to see it. But give me feedback. I'm totally open to you guys. You got to give me feedback of what you're liking to see, what you don't like to see, so that way I can cater to content based on what you guys are liking. You know, not much point in me putting like just cat videos in here if you guys don't want cat videos. You know what I'm saying? So bore you to death with crappy content, you know. Okay, you're finding that biceps and side delts are hard to build up. Do you think I need more sets? You might need more sets, or you might need to adjust your technique a bit. Okay, so are you doing incline curls, mate, feed, kill, repeat? Are you doing incline curls like I suggested? David Granger, yeah, they did learn the conflict thing from pumping iron, but they also learned the conflict thing from every single documentary since the dawn of time, every single movie since the dawn of time, every story, every novel. It's the basis of storytelling is that you have to have a conflict. Otherwise, people get bored. They just tune out. They're like, okay, well, what am I watching this for, right? Leon Salin is asking about forearm training. I don't train forearms. I just basically hold on to the bar and that trains my forearms enough. More cooking videos, Rudy's saying. Okay, I don't really cook that much. I cook chicken, it's very boring. I just throw all the chicken breasts in a pan and just watch them sizzle away and put some turmeric and garlic on there and then voila, dry rubbery chicken. And then sometimes I'll add some rice to it or some dates or something and there you go, that's my meal. But yeah, people seem to like that food thing. I don't know why, but they like watching people cook stuff. Okay, I'm just going up here. Luminous Bluebird, is beer anabolic? I've seen some muscular guys who drink often. It seems counterproductive based on what I've heard. Beer is counterproductive in a lot of ways. Unless you're drinking the low alcohol one, and then there's a lot of nutrients and stuff in there, then maybe that would be good. But I've never gotten anything out of that. I find that alcohol is basically the opposite of bodybuilding for me. Now I'm glad I could help you, Carol OG. Jake Foltz, working each muscle once a week enough to build muscle? I would say it could be if you do enough volume and depending on your genetics, but I find doing less volume more often seems to be better. Training a muscle group 2 to 3 times a week seems to be more ideal for me, if not a little bit more sometimes. Yeah, David Granger kidnap a chef and do a bodybuilding tour of the world, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, God, you hate chicken. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Sometimes you can get bored of eating the same things. Yeah. Yeah, people want to see me cook, but I can't cook. See, that's the thing. So I'm going to just throw chicken. Like, okay, really? You guys are going to... Okay, let's have a talk. Let's have a talk. Okay, so if I just take something out of a bag and I put it in a stove, like or in a pan, okay, turn the stove on, that's really going to be interesting to you guys to watch? Like, that's really just doing that? That's interesting? I don't know how to make that interesting. I don't know how people like that stuff. Yeah, cooking with Jason Gallant, it'd be more like watching stuff sizzle. It's not really cooking. Cooking is usually like dee-dee-dee, all these different herbs and things and all this stuff. I don't do that. I eat a very plain diet sometimes, right? So, Peter Fisher, where can you see when I'm going live? I'm going live. Okay, first of all, Peter. Okay, Peter, right here. Click on the bell icon down below this video. and then click on receive notifications. Okay, so if you click on receive notifications, then you'll get notified anytime I go live or anytime I upload a video. That's really important. Imtiaz Osman, if you're not sore the next day, still building muscle. In some cases, yes. Some muscle groups tend to get sore more than others, but you should feel some tightness or something. There should be something you feel, right? And if not, then you can up the volume or increase the weight or change the rep ranges. Maybe you need to go higher reps for a workout. Experiment. Try different things. Trenton Mans, heavy shrugs or more volume for bigger traps. I would say you can do heavy shrugs. But heavy shrugs, I never did shrugs. Just so you know, I never did shrugs for my training. I did them for a period of time, but they didn't really work for me. So I found that training back and shoulders properly really helped my traps. That's really what happened. Yeah, you press subscribe. That's right. You press subscribe, but I'm assuming you got it's already subscribed to the channel. But thanks for that team love tip. Just go down below, click subscribe, then beside the subscribe button there is a bell icon, and then you can click receive notifications. So I highly recommend you guys do this, so that way you'll get notified when I put up a new video or if I'm live. But I'm going live every Saturday and usually every Sunday, or I'm going to try to get on Sundays as well. And next week might be a little rough because I'm in the middle of the move and everything, but I'll be on Saturday next week for sure. Sunday might not be, I don't know. But yeah, Saturdays for sure, so you can tune in then. Carlo G is a good go 5 times a week to the gym. Every time you work out a different part. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Leon Solen, yeah, thanks. No, I'm glad you found me there, Leon. Okay, I'm almost done here, guys. It's 5:20. One more question. Yeah, actually, you know, a mirthless one, you're talking about the grass-fed protein, it's working out pretty good. It seems like I'm putting on a bit of muscle and stuff. I've been increasing my carbs a bit, and I did have a couple cheat meals this last day or so. So tonight's physique or whatever is not going to be a reflection of the whey protein by any means, but more like Haagen-Dazs. But yeah, it seems like it's helping me recover a bit better from my workouts. It seems like I have a little bit more energy, more strength and stuff. So yeah, I think it was necessary for me to add a little bit more protein to my diet. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. It seems to be good. Losing motivation, need motivation tips. HN, why are you not motivated? Like, what is it? Are you just not liking training? What's going on? What are you not motivated about? I'll wait for you to talk to me. See you, mate. Feed, kill, repeat. See ya. I'm just going to answer this one guy's question here. HN, you're losing motivation. Why are you losing motivation, HN? Tired from work. Okay. All right. So can you take a nap when you get home from work or what? Sometimes you need to take an extra day off or two. Just totally sleep it out. Just rejuvenate. Construction job. Yeah, what I used to do, I did construction for a while. What I used to do was come home from work, take a huge nap, like 2 hours sometimes, 3 hours. And then I'd go to the gym after that, then come home, eat, and then watch TV for a bit and then go to sleep, and then do it all over again the next day. So yeah, construction is quite stressful. But the other thing you can do is that when you're stressing the body through construction, there are certain body parts that you're working a lot of, like your forearms, you're working your lower back a lot, you may be working your shoulders a lot. So maybe take your workouts down a little, make them smaller, and just work the body parts that are necessary that you don't work during your construction day. So for instance, your quadriceps and your hamstrings, you know, your calves maybe. If you're not walking hills all day, then work your calves. Maybe you need to work your triceps, but your biceps are getting a little bit of work from just lifting boards and doing that kind of thing. Maybe you can train your chest and your lats because you're not using a lot of lats at work. So you can change your workouts into things that you don't get worked at work. So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I don't know how long it takes you to commute home. So you're working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you take an hour to get home or whatever and go home, have something to eat, go to sleep for an hour or two, and then get to the gym. Do light workouts and do smaller ones. Don't feel the need to do super high volume because you're already burning a lot of energy all day. Maybe you need to just work out with your main lifts and be very efficient with how you're using your energy, and that will help. What video did I go to the bakery coffee shop? Just wondering. Oh, okay. So somebody's asking me here. I think this might be the girl at the coffee shop, or her brother. Okay, Blue Fang. Okay, it was Do I Count Calories? That's what it's called, and that was the one where I went to the coffee shop. So Do I Count Calories? So watch that one, and then you'll see it. Okay. And Cameron D, building a home gym, that's a relevant thing. If you build a home gym, for sure, that's a way of actually saving some time too. Okay. So if you build a home gym, you'll be able to save that commute and stuff and just get a couple workouts. But some people, it actually kind of works against them because they're like, oh, it's so easy to go into the gym, but maybe I'll do it later, and then they don't, you know. So I find it's good to have a carrot of some sort in the gym, such as a TV in there or music or some sort of atmosphere that you want to go to. So that's why I find the gym that I go to is great, because sometimes there's people that I want to see, say hi to and all this, and that kind of pulls me into the gym as well. So it's good to have a couple reasons to train or a couple things that motivate you to do that, right? So you have to kind of play with your own motives. You have to create your own motivation. What is it that you enjoy? And you have to attach that thing that you enjoy to the activity as well. So say I like people, then I say, okay, workout, and then people is the same thing, and then I find a way to make a snowball out of that, okay? And then that motivates me to go to the gym. So I hope that helps you out a bit. Okay, so Carol OG, I'll answer this question. He goes, what do you think is better? 5 times a week and every time 2 to 3 body parts, or your body, or only one every time? Okay, I think it's better to train more frequently and less volume. So I think it would be better to do 5 workouts or doing 2 to 3 body parts with less volume. I think that would be better, and still work out 5 days a week. That's better, I think. Putting up drywall, not a great motivator. That's a Team Love Tip is saying. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Okay, well, I think this. Okay, 1 second here. What do you think of training every day? I mean, your body can't really generate very well without supplements like creatine. This can't be very healthy, can it? Training every day can be healthy because if you look at construction workers, they're doing it all the time. It just depends on what type of training you're doing. Okay, if you're lifting super heavy in 5 reps, 3 reps, 2 reps, you know, that kind of thing, that will be extremely hard. That will be extremely hard for you to recover from. So yeah, that type of training would not work in that way. Okay, so. This is the thing. You have to cater what type of training you're doing based to the rest. So I found that training more frequently with maybe not quite as heavy a weight seemed to work better for my body. It seemed like it was not overkill. It seemed my body had a better time adjusting to that and adapting to it. But each person might be a little bit different in this. But yeah, you do need a day off here and there, 100%. I would always recommend a day off a week or 2 days off a week. I would always recommend 1 or 2 days off a week, 100%. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to basically put a video up later on tonight, or at least I'm going to work at that. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I'll see you this week. I'll be putting on videos all week, and then I will be jumping off live once in a while. So make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon and receive notifications, and then basically you'll be notified when I jump on again. All right? Okay, guys, take care, eh?